Well, hello, and welcome back to this Transformation Decoded episode. And today we're going to be discussing part two of handling the pandemic. Last episode, we talked a little bit about things that we had learned, things that we had discovered about ourselves, and just some ways possibly of navigating this crazy time. Today, what we want to do is kind of go through looking ahead. Even though last week I talked about being present, we're going to talk a little bit about looking ahead as to how we want to emerge, who we want to become post-pandemic. I'm Jackie Almer, one of the three founding partners of Transformation Decoded and also the CEO of Fun and Abundance at StreetSmartWealth.com. And I would like to introduce you first to my two partners in crime. Isabel?
Hi, I'm Isabel Banerjee, and I am the CEO and founder of the Encore Catalyst and the Evolutionary Women Group on Facebook.
And I am Lee Woodward, and I am the owner of Woman in Disguise, and I like to think of myself as a recovering corporate executive.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies, and welcome to you and welcome to our audience. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about who we want to become, how we want to emerge from the pandemic, and I'm going to mix it up a little bit. We started with Isabel first on the last episode, and today on this one, I'm going to start with you, Lee. Share some ideas that you've come up with of who you want to become and how you want to emerge.
Yeah, this has been a challenging one for me. I think that I've had some other things that have transpired. I have a lot of questions about, to be honest, the viability of my business from this experience. I've had a passing of my soulmate furry friend, my dog Cass, and so recently. So I think in addition to the global pandemic, which had me more, I'll be honest, I think had me more just thinking about how do I just kind of stay safe and stay healthy and get through this. That kind of what I say, Maslow's hierarchy of needs level, kind of down here. Those additional experiences have actually been the ones to, I think, kind of move me out of that and start to really think about, wow, where am I and what do I want to be and where do I want to come out of this at? And certainly our conversations have helped with that. So I think for me, that's still, I'm still right in the heart of that exact question to myself, and a lot of change still going on. And I do know that the thing that I mentioned in our last episode about one of the things I've learned is my desire for quiet is I want to be a quieter internal person. I do a lot of monkey brain, a lot of chattering with myself. That turns into logistics and planning. And it has felt good to kind of have that thrust off of me in a way. And I really want to move forward, taking that quiet with me, even though things will start to resume to feel more normal.
I would love to expand on that if you would just a little bit, Lee, and see if you've come up with a plan or how you're working through that at this point. Like, do you have a process for when the monkey mind sets in? Share a little bit with us.
Yeah, I think right now, so for one, I do spiritual direction, which has been really, really important for me. So my coach is a spiritual direction coach, and that's been Amanda Peterson. She's amazing. And that's been really helpful for me because I think for the first time, I'm not feeling this need to figure it out. I should, I could. I'm just getting better at stepping away from that and not forcing it. And so I think right now for me, it's more of giving myself grace to say I don't have to figure that out right this minute. And 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 to be honest, what I'm kind of using as I'm discerning is this difference of, and we talk about this hard, when something just becomes, there's good hard, like something's worth going for, you go, you put the effort in and it feels great. And then to me, there's just this, it's just holds me down hard. And I'm starting to recognize that and say, I'm not doing that. And so it's been hard this hard to try to figure out what I want to do. So I'm just easing back off of it and giving myself time to kind of play with ideas and see where I can trust myself that I'll come up with it. It'll be there for me. I don't know if that helps, but I guess for me, it's this: know when something's hard, I want it, I'm going to go for it. And when something's just holding me down hard.
I love it. That's perfect. And I envy you for that and applaud you for it at the same time to, have that ability to just say, I'm just going to kind of let this unfold as I know it should. And I think that's the reality for all of us, how we should handle things. But I unfortunately don't always excel in that area. Most often I don't. So Isabel, share with us a little bit about what your thoughts are.
We have someone else who wants to contribute to
I
to
see
our
that.
video podcast. Yes. Well, I think we could talk for days about the monkey mind and the busy brain and the inner critic, and definitely we should investigate how that impacts all of our decisions. I seriously, the word that came to me when I thought about our conversation was, I want to come out of this experience transformed. There's so many aspects of who I was and who I thought I was and who I thought I should be, that these months have given me challenge to really, do the hard work. There's that hard thing again. Look really honestly in the mirror in my eyes and say, is that really what you want now? And for, for people in the audience, the three of us are in a book that I instigated and then had the amazing contribution of 19 other women to write about the stories of transformation, and it's entitled Who Am I Now? And that's what I'm feeling right now each day as we get a little farther into what's going on with the pandemic and what's going on with other really painful events and illnesses in the world. Is who am I and how am I going to grow from this experience now? And which parts of me don't serve me any longer? So I've been thinking about that, and I know that gratitude is really, really upper mind for me these days, of what I am grateful for and how to be more mindful of what I've got and the advantages I have and the people who contribute to my success, my evolution, my comfort, my joy, my love every day. So gratitude's a part of my transformation, being more present in that and finding more ways to show gratitude. Flexibility has become another big one for me, in that feeling restrained, contained, drained through the social isolation, because I am an extrovert and I do energize based on being around other people and creating and innovating with them. So that was hard. That big part of me was gone. And so learning to flex and find other ways to get that transfer of energy and an exchange of ideas is important. And in fact, out of that came something probably would never have thought of doing. And I've started an entire new chapter of my business life and my ambitions, and that's creating an online platform for women to collaborate and share their wisdom to help others and to create impact around the world. This is brand new for me. If you had said to me 6 months ago, you're going to do this, I would have laughed at you and said, I don't know how to do that. I wouldn't have the foggiest idea. how to build a non-blind platform and gather around me this incredible faculty of feminine wisdom. So yeah, I have some other thoughts, but let me hear what else you all have to say, and maybe I can summarize at the end about that.
Absolutely awesome. Thank you. The great stuff. Yeah, for me, it really comes back to the things that I learned about myself. So I think anytime that you have that sense of learning, the best thing that you can do then is to put that into action instead of just thinking on it and having it just be a thought out there. I'm big in your thoughts create your reality. And so really being grounded and intentional with my thoughts and doing that work um, and being grounded in the present and letting go of stories of the past, especially the ones that don't serve me anymore, and not being so future focused that I lose sight of what's going on right now, today in my world, and in my universe that I can somewhat control or not. So that's a big part of it, is really being present and being intentional with my priorities too. And it's being clear every day on what those primary things are that I want to accomplish, and then being flexible for whatever actually comes up. And then finally, just really being part of the solution, being part of a leadership platform, a leadership in all different areas of life, in my family, in my business, in my community, on social media, all those different ways where I can look at how can I be a contributor to the positive good of myself and others.
There's a lot. There's a lot coming out of this that is good and can lead to better ways of showing up, and we're being our best selves, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lee, any thoughts that you wanted to add on to this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you were saying that, I was trying to think, and then I was like, I should have an answer. I should have a better answer. And I think honestly for me right now, and this goal, I guess this desire for me to kind of get reconnected with myself started prior to this global pandemic. But there is just this desire for me to emerge from this more connected to myself internally, having the ability to kind of always find that peace and that quiet. And I realized how much I would distract myself and almost addicted to distraction. And it's a little scary for me to think about living without those. But I was mentioning the other one, I'm on social media way less now. Isabel, you've talked a little bit about this, the junkie for, signing up for this, signing up for that. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm doing all of that a lot less. And I think for me, I'm trying to find this balance of, I don't know if you guys, ever think this, but like, okay, when am I checking out and when am I really just kind of being in the moment? So I think I'm in this moment of discernment. Like, I'm not looking at miles of change. I'm kind of like trying to feel these very fine tuning. I guess that's what, it feels like for me right now, is I'm in this moment of discernment and fine tuning and just kind of playing in very small spaces and not thinking super huge. And that's new for me. So I'm just trying to be with it. And every once in a while it's like, I got to get on this. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. And it's like, no, I'm just not going to go there.
I like the thought about distraction and even distraction junkie, because I can definitely be guilty of that. And it's kind of like what you had shared before about really valuing the quiet. And I kind of went through the same thing where it's like, do, read, listen to this, get into, all of that. And then finally at one point I realized, okay, now I need to do something with all of this learning and mind work and different things. And that really does involve quiet and silencing and listening to your own self talk to you and tell you what you need to hear. So I love that.
I just had
Isabel?
an idea for a revealing episode for us if we did a video tour of our bookshelves and program binders that we have accumulated over the past few years, and said, and this one was no, I didn't quite finish that one. Yeah, I think I read some of that. I do understand, and I do totally commit to each one. I learned something. There was some impact in my life, and I am a lifelong learner, so that won't stop. But I like the discernment concept, Lee. You just slowing down a bit and standing back a little bit to say, do I have time and space for that? Do I have mental capacity for it? Or am I just, you know, it's like eating another potato chip. Gotta have another course. Gotta have another self-improvement program. Gotta, what's the latest and greatest that somebody is talking about? Yeah, maybe the world will be a little more quiet, reflective place after this. I hope. For me, I do believe, I do intend to come out of this with wonder and marvel at how people rise to the occasion and rise to handle adversity and reach out and help each other. For all of the very sad and destructive stuff we're hearing on the news, on media, there's been even more examples of people doing great things to help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can over focus on the negative, and certainly with the media, because that's what, negativity sells, unfortunately. And it undermines the stories of greatness that is coming out there. And, for me, that's part of, in my own little way, in my own little world, even if that's from my home, how can I be part of the solution? How can I be a leader in what I do, and making that decision every time before I put something on social media or say something or do something, to think, is this the capacity of a leader? Lee, final thoughts before we close up?
Yeah, I guess I think everyone through this has their own journey, and I know for me, so it's what's been interesting. I think I've just I want to merge knowing myself better, and that has just been for someone. I thought I'm self-aware. I kind of know who I am, Isabel, to your point. And this has just given me an opportunity at a way deeper level to really, ask myself, for someone who's always been on a path. I always knew the job I was going to do. I had this vision, and to kind of go, and not about it ending because of the pandemic, but just taking it and having me take a step back and say, wow, I don't even know if that's where I want to go or the direction. And so, like I said, I think for me, it's humbling right now, to be quite honest, because I just am sitting in not sure what I have to offer, not sure where it's going to take me. But I think trusting myself that will all come forward for me. So I guess that would be a word. I feel very humbled right now by this whole experience, and I wouldn't mind bringing that with me as we emerge out of this either. So
Very good. Isabel?
It's about gratitude. It's all about the focus on gratitude, and focusing on what I might have considered the small stuff in my life before, and really discovering and reconnecting to that those are the most important things in my life, and maintaining that positivity that we will come out of this together better. That's where we set our sights.
Very good. Yeah, one thing that I had thought about after our last episode, and Lee, you just kind of brought it back up for me, is resistance. And the reality of it is that we kind of talked on the last episode about, you know, finding the 50-50. What's the good in this? What's the bad in this? And acceptance of what is. And Byron Katie says this, and I love it, and that is, you can argue with reality and you lose 100% of the time. We can't change reality. We can change our thoughts and actions around it. And I think the biggest thing is to pay attention to resistance, not just resistance in the big level, but kind of like what you were talking about, Lee, just kind of going inward with, you know, with talking about your business and figuring out the new direction. What are those areas of resistance? Where were you having resistance? And then just kind of that silence and going inward and asking body, mind, heart, soul, what is the message you want to give me through this resistance? What can I learn about this resistance? Because it is a message. It's something inside of us that's saying no. And we can't always fight with the no, but in certain areas we can pay attention to that and say, okay, what does this mean for me? For sure. So that's it for our two-part on the pandemic. Again, I have a little gift for you. If you just go to streetsmartwealth.com/7 gifts, all run together. It's a little download. It'll walk you through. I'll share with you my gifts, my takeaways, and why, give you some space to write some things that you've learned about yourself, and then certainly journal and do some thought downloads on how you want to come out of this yourself. And in that, as you see with us, it's a constant transformation. How we feel today, right now at this moment, about how we want to come out of this, we don't know what this afternoon holds. We don't know what tomorrow holds. So all of it, just like life, is an ever-evolving platform and process. So with that, we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Stay healthy.
Bye.